Okay, I guess I got dropped. Weird. Uh, it's really weird the new streaming format. I don't know, or just maybe I'm just not good at it. But anyways, if you've got questions, drop them in the chat. Um, my first live stream of the year of 2019 is literally at the end of the year. That's kind of funny to me. You might not think it's funny, but I kind of think it's funny. Obviously, if you're just on a subscriber on the YouTube and you're like, wow, Jay never uploads anymore. I don't upload that much, but I do write every day, and that's kind of been my focus for 2019. Is there's you see it right on the screen, empirealerts.substack.com. Go ahead and subscribe. It is free to subscribe, or you can pay as well per year and get everything. I don't do free emails every day anymore. I did over 100 emails for free, and then I started charging for the email, which I think is hopefully you agree, but I think that's completely normal, completely fine. I provided so much value for so long, and then I said, hey, you know what? This is kind of getting ridiculous. Give me what is it, $5 or $10 a month, and you get unlimited emails. Otherwise, I email maybe like 10 times a month for free. And those are hopefully high quality. Hopefully you agree, high quality if you're a subscriber. But yeah, empirealerts.substack.com. That is like personal finance, macro data, what's going on with the global economy. And then I do another one, which is mindset.substack.com. And that is about the mental game. This is something I mentioned in the Discord the other day, but there's really only two things I've ever cared about and talked to you guys about since the very beginning in 2017, which is mindset and money. Because the four threads of life, which is finances, and the other one would be fitness and family. So it's what? Finances, faith, fitness, family. I like those because 4 F's and sounds cool. But the other two, fitness and family, I think when you have a lot of your mindset correct, it makes it really, when you have your mindset correct, it makes it easy for the other three. Okay, but when you have your mindset and money together, then your fitness regimen and your family life should be easier to maintain. Okay, should be easier to maintain. That's why that's all I've ever really focused on with you guys, right? Going all the way back to the very beginning, that was all I was really focused on because I know the importance of it, and it's still the basis of everything that I do. So I haven't changed in 2 years from that standpoint. Asia and Australia already had their New Year's, so Happy New Year's to you guys. It is now officially 2020, which we're going to talk about goals, obviously. But if you got questions, drop them in the chat. I don't expect many people on here. There's 4 people on here right now. Only because when's the last time I actually went live? But we're going to talk about goals. I think goals are something that are extremely miscalculated, made out to be harder than it is. Most of us are mistaught goals too. Mistaught goals. It's ridiculous. I remember that I didn't really start taking it serious until 27, 28. But I was introduced to the whole concept of it when I did door-to-door sales when I was in my early 20s. So I just didn't think it was real. I thought it was kind of bullshit. My first live stream of 2019. Go figure. It's on the last day. It's on the last day of the year. What is going on with fucking YouTube, man? Why are these people even in my chat? Just get out of here. Talking a bunch of bullshit. Jesus. Just talking nonsense. Okay, we are live now. I do have a Discord, private, but that is a place where I'm fairly active, and it is a place where a lot of people get stay up to date on what's going on with the community. So yeah, we're going to talk about some goals though. I think there's a lot of really lonely people, and a lot of really lost people, and that's true for a lot of America. And they have this. The unfortunate part is that they have this nasty habit of taking it out on everybody else. So victims usually do that. Perpetual victims, perpetual disempowered people will constantly try and chop down strong alpha characters because they got nothing else. They got nothing else to do. And it is really concerning to me when, somebody's got all the time in the world to go around onto things that they don't like, conversations that they don't like, topics that they don't like, and give their opinion and try and, just butt in whatever they're doing. Whether it's nefarious and trying to start arguments or just, ruin somebody else's day, you'll find that people who aren't happy, they want everyone else to not be happy with them. And when people are confused and when people are disempowered and people are victims, which I group all that shit together because it's all the same. It all breeds and fuels each other, right? Like you can't be a strong, empowered person and be confused at the same time. It just isn't possible, right? And you see a lot of that going on right now. And that, I think, is a fucking shame. That, I think, is one of the leading problems is, and that's why from the top down, the president's job is to keep the economy strong and to keep prosperity flowing, is because when you have the money game figured out and you have, money flowing into the economy and GDP is strong, it builds what? Confidence, and it builds self-esteem. And then people are more willing to part with their dollars, right? Basic stuff, really basic stuff. All right, so let's talk about no questions, just a bunch of nothing burgers so far in the chat. But let's talk about goals. So I think goals are pretty much blown way out of proportion. I make it a habit every year of doing a live stream right around the end of the year, beginning of the next year, because I know how vital it is. Okay, I'm shaking the desk. I know how vital it is. So back when, taking a trip down memory lane, back when I did I worked at the gym and I was running a health club for a while, we would see the influx, right? And that is one of the most common things, is New Year's resolutions. And we would call them New Year's resolution people. And we knew that from January, at least until the end of January, we'd have an influx in people. And I got to look at new stats, but the amount of success rate for New Year's resolutions is so low, it's ridiculous. It's less than 8%. Okay, so it's like X amount of people after the first week drop off. After 2 weeks, this much drops off. After 3 weeks, this much drops off. 4 weeks, this, and by March, the gym was right back to normal. And what I noticed is, as the years went on, this would get worse and worse. And I didn't like that, obviously, because I wasn't in the business of selling gym memberships. I was in the business of helping people transform their lives back then. And I didn't like that people would get all excited for change. Even some people would start coming in as soon as December, so we'd do big blowout sales in December to get people in. And it really bothered me that people, it was just so easy for them to fall off. And it's not that it was easy, it's just that the habit of comfort was so much greater. See, because the minute that you are thrown into something uncomfortable, the body at a visceral level, at every pore, every cell in the body is naturally going to go towards comfort. It wants to go back towards comfort. So that's why it's so easy to quit. So with fitness, all it takes is that first couple times, that first week, and the soreness to kick in. You can't get out of bed for that first day. It's super sore to bend over. You can't even sit on a toilet maybe. We've all had days like that, right? Maybe you pushed it too hard. And then that starts to chip away at, well, maybe this wasn't such a good idea. And then that invites in the thoughts of quitting. And what you don't realize is that you already quit at that moment. When those thoughts start to creep in, you're already gone. Because the next day and the next day and the next day, and then you quit, you're gone. And, fitness is a big one for New Year's resolutions, and so is finances. People are always creating new goals for their finances. Now, going back to my story for a second, I'll talk more about this in depth here soon in a future video. But, I didn't realize the importance of it. So, I did the gym. It was like this. I did I tried to do fitness modeling, okay, and I worked at Hollister, Abercrombie, shit like that. It's kind of funny thinking about it now, and a little bit shy too. But I did that, and then I transitioned into GNC, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I like this, and I was kind of on my own, journey at that point too. Then I got into health club stuff, and then I got into door-to-door sales because I thought I sucked at sales. I was okay, wildly mediocre, okay, but I got, I did door-to-door sales because I thought I was bad at it. And I lived in Michigan at the time. So I did door-to-door sales in Detroit, by the way. And I say that partially because it sounds badass. And partially because it was tough. It was tough to do. You had people meeting you at the door. You came in with a suit in a neighborhood that wasn't expecting people to walk around in suits unless they worked for the government. So it was very interesting. Different reactions that we got, dogs, knives, never a gun, but knives, police called, because we were soliciting, we were doing solicitation, and it's very, very eye-opening, okay? And I did that for 2 years, became top sales guy, and one of the things that we had to do every week with the guy above us that was kind of training us and mentoring us, it really was like a MLM type model, but it was a really good one. And that's the difference, is that, most of that stuff you see is really, really bad. And the sales training is always awful. And the marketing is always awful. And it's just go sit down and with enough people and throw enough shit at the wall and see what sticks. With this, there was actually systems to it. So it was a similar approach. It was, the fancy way of saying throw shit at the wall and see what sticks is law of averages, which it actually is a law. But it just states that if you see enough people, you have enough sales conversations, there is but no choice to close a deal. So we got so obsessed with, in this job, we got so obsessed with chasing a nose because we knew that the more no's we got to, it was just paving the way for a yes. Paving the way for somebody, a golden sale, right? And all this stuff is very, very real. But one of the things I would do each week with, my team leader guy is I would sit down and we'd talk about my goals. And every week, and this is what I eventually said, I was sitting down with him and the guy who ran the office, and we were all kind of buddies at this point. We'd go out and get drunk all the time together, and I was one of the top trainers in the office, so I got like this special, time, and yes, it did get to my head. I had kind of like this special time with both of them, and in the morning while they were kind of matching us up to do interviews. The whole thing was staged. It was really great how this all happened. The whole thing was staged from the very beginning of the morning. We'd practice pitch each other in this big room, and we'd get loud and crazy. Then we'd practice public speaking in front of each other, in front of the group. And there's 100 people in this office. So, very great sample size to get good at public speaking, sharpen your tools. And then, obviously, the whole thing was scripted with how the people that were interviewing for jobs came in and what they heard and what they saw and how they got connected up with, me, who is the sales trainer guy. We'd take them out and go hit the pavement together. But anyways, I'm going off on tangents here. But we'd sit down and do goals. And I remember at one point, this will always be a moment that I remember, is I just, I kind of threw up my hands and said, look, dude, what's up with this goals bullshit? Every week I sit down here and I write the same shit on a piece of paper. And some weeks I get it and some weeks I don't. I said, it doesn't have anything to do with me writing it down. This is how clueless I was. It doesn't have anything to do with me writing it down. It just has to do with how hard I work. So I'm just going to go out and do what I know how to do. And, I was wildly wrong, because later on because I had no personal development experience at that point. And didn't even know who Tony Robbins was or, Deepak Chopra. Those are the guys that I kind of then fell into. Not Tony, but Deepak, and I went down that route. But no inner development work at that point. Not a clue. But anyways, so, at that point, I had no idea. And it wasn't until I went balls deep into it and, 6-7 years later, and I got to see the truth of, okay, we need to sit down and we need to, at minimum, look back on this time frame. And we need to see what was done right and what we wanted to get done but didn't happen. And what was the difference? What was the difference? And there's all kinds of stuff that was the difference. How I felt about it, how I planned, how I strategized, how I worked my time. All those things are going to be night and day difference between the things that got done and the things that didn't. Similarly to the things that I think is easy in my mind versus the things that I think are hard. Things that I think are easy, just be a breeze. Bang, 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 bang. Right? Like it's nothing. I could be tired, get it done. And the things that I think are hard, coincidentally, there's also a lot of things that got in my way. There's a lot less time I was able to dedicate towards those things. And this beautiful coincidence is what we call resistance. This beautiful coincidence is what we call self-sabotage. Getting in your own way. Old habits, old defaults, old patterns, old beliefs, whatever the fuck you want to label it as. It's the same thing. It's stuff that stops you from getting from A to B. That's it. And this is utterly fascinating to me because the mind will go to such extreme lengths to define this, to give it a name, to title it, to do all it can to run away. No, Jay. I understand resistance. I know what that is. This is not that. Okay, buddy. Okay, sure thing. And it's resistance, just so you know. And so anyway, yeah, I had no clue. And it wasn't until I started to see these things that I started to realize. And what I didn't realize is that one of the beauties of school, whether you like public school or not, I mean, from the education standpoint, probably not so great, but from the habits and behavior standpoint, a little bit better. Some of the conditioning, not so good. But when I played sports growing up, the coach would always do what? The coach would always kind of grab me, throw his arm around me, come on over here, bud. Bud and pal were the common terms used back then. And they'd have a little powwow with me, right? They'd have a little moment with me. And basically what it was is it was build, break, build. It was, hey, you're doing a really great job with this. I noticed that this is not so good, so we're going to make this change so that we can get the result we want, which is score more goals, win more games, whatever, right? Very easy association and bridge that they used there to get me to make these changes. But unless you work a job, you kind of stop doing this. And if you work a job, a lot of times you don't get this either. And all it is a self-reflection. All it is a situational awareness thing. You got to schedule that in. You got to schedule in everything, especially in the beginning when you're trying to crack this open and build new habits. And you got to schedule it all in. And so you got to sit down with yourself. Easiest way to do this is do it on a weekly basis. Sit down on Sunday and look at the week that just passed. What just happened that was good? What could we change? What could we do better? Just like the coach would do. Coach is going to sit you down one-on-one, and then the coach obviously sat down with the whole team, and he would, he'd have a pretty similar conversation on a regular basis with the whole team, right? And what are we talking about here so far? How long have we been going, by the way? 21 minutes. 21 minutes, and we basically talked about the most basic shit. But it's not taught in schools. You see, that's the problem. And unless you're aware, which we don't usually get until later on, you don't really get that that's what was doing the magic. You don't really get that that's what was doing the trick, okay? It's not till later. But all these reflective periods are insanely valuable. So the easiest way to break down your year moving forward would be to do what everyone else does, meaning the financial system. The financial system treats everything in quarters. When you run a business, you pay quarterly taxes if you make enough money, hopefully. Personally, pay quarterly taxes. So why don't you operate your year in 4 90-day blocks, 4 90-day windows? It's much easier to digest that because the problem with it is a lot like the problem with writing. I go to write and I open up a brand new blank notepad or document, and what's staring at me? A white sheet and the blinking cursor. God, how do I start this thing? How do I start this? So you would think that having the blank slate and the crystal clear screen in front of you would be an empowering thing. But it's not. It's not. It actually is terrifying and stops most people from even getting started. Same thing here. So that's how you tackle things going forward. But we're getting way ahead of ourselves because here we are, December 31st, and today should be a magical day for you, today and tomorrow. New Year's Day, you will have off even if you work a job. What you should be doing tomorrow is going through and going through a simple process like what I outlined here. This was a free email that I sent out this morning, by the way. So you would have had this. If you were subscribed, EmpireAlerts.substack.com, by the way, you would have gotten this email this morning at 6:30 Mountain Standard Time. Okay, and this is me just selling you shit, which I should, okay? If I provide you with value, then you should be providing me with value back, which is sharing and giving me money. That's just how this works. Value in, value out. So here's what I would suggest you do. Sit down, go back through your year. Write down everything that you accomplished, even granular things. And the reason why is because we tend to discredit and devalue really quickly things we got done. Now, I'm not saying, write down every single time you put on your socks or you woke up at 4 a.m. or you took a cold shower. But if that, in a broad scheme of things, is a win, then yes, do it. If you're fighting cancer and you've been in bed for the last 6 months, then getting out of bed is one of the wins for this year, isn't it? So it's all relative to what you're going through. Okay, so my list of acceptable things and things I'd put on this list is going to be different than yours. So it makes no sense for me to show you my list because it's based and relative on you. Okay, so write out everything that you accomplished. If it's significant and it comes up in your mind as you're writing this out, then you should write it out. Okay, don't ignore it. And everything you wanted to accomplish but didn't. So it's almost like two columns. Got done, wanted to get done but didn't. Okay. Bang, list those out. And these will start to come to you as you're writing these out. Okay? So then write out these. A simple thing you could do is go through each one and take time and just think, okay, well, I didn't get this done. I'm bummed out about it. Try to set aside the emotions for a second, but just think a little bit deeper and think, okay, logically, what did I need for this to have gone differently? What tools, what resources, what would have been the perfect scenario for this to have gone the way I wanted it to? And then you're going to think of almost this different version of you. And then what I want you to do is close your eyes, sit there, shut your eyes, and now start at the very beginning and see the event coming up on the horizon. But picture this time you have everything you need. You have all the tools that you need. And you go through this event, you go through all the stages of this thing and get to the desired result that you wanted, the desired outcome you wanted. And go through the list of wanted it but didn't happen. Bang, 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 bang. Each one, do the same thing. Repeat, right? Now analyze. Yep. Yeah. And so the beautiful thing about this is it tends to reframe the past. So instead of now those things being energetically charged as a trauma, because remember, failure's bad, especially in America. So, we've gotten to this point now where failure's such a big scare that so many people they're not even willing to do anything because they fear of what the potential failure could be and what is everyone going to think. The subconscious and self-esteem issues in America are just baffling, actually. Absolutely baffling that you would give a fuck what anyone thinks about you. When you die, none of those people will be at your funeral. When you die, you will not think of any of those people. You'll not remember any of those people. So why the fuck are you thinking about them now? Why are you letting them be an excuse and a reason to stop? Stop stopping, okay? Now, getting back to this. That tends to reframe the past in such a beautiful way that it's not traumas anymore, and it's not, this emotional thing. It's a positive association. And so that will help you moving forward. So yes, you are lying to yourself. Yes, you are manipulating yourself. Yes, you are being overly delusional and overly optimistic. Yes, that is the whole point. That is what we're going for here. Steve Jobs, every successful billionaire, right? That is now that whole thing doesn't even have power because they've worn out the topic. Do these 3 things in the morning because a billionaire did it. Do these 7 things to be successful, right? The top list concept has been pretty worn out. But fact remains that these things work, okay? And they work for good reason. And you do have to create this alternate reality around yourself. The greater your goal, the greater the delusion that you have to create. And people won't understand it, and they will hate it. And they will hate that you are not science-based, and they will hate that you're doing things that are conflicting with them. And the issue with going out and being carefree about what people think and letting that go and going and creating your own delusional bubble to get your success. And what people aren't realizing, all the people on the outside, is one, because you're so free, it bothers them because they're not free. Because you're so empowered, it bothers them because they're disempowered and they're a victim and they need a hashtag movement to get behind every other week. Otherwise, they feel incomplete as an individual. Whereas you don't give a fuck and you are blazing a trail. Now, the other thing that they're missing, because they're so fucking selfish, and this is where I take issue with these people, is that because you're trying to stifle and crush these people, you're actually crushing yourself. And they're too ignorant to see this. Because when somebody goes out, and they're a trendsetter, and we support them, and we say, yeah, go fucking get it. Anything I can do to help you, go get it. And every step of the way, just like at an Ironman race or at any race, you have your support team. And what are they doing for you? They're cheering for you, right? But in life, you don't really get that. But if we did have that, and the thing that they're missing is that when this guy goes and fucking does it, he is empowering everyone around him. Because he's just proven wrong all of our beliefs. All of our limitations have been shattered now. Not only that, but he's providing more value in this world than the people sitting on the sidelines talking shit. That's where I take issue with that. I don't care what your beliefs are. I don't care what your identification is. You want to go play fucking dress up, go for it. My problem is that you're stifling people and you're trying to bring everyone back down to your level because you're confused and you're lost and you're mad and you're upset with the world around you. So you're trying to fuck everybody else. That's my problem. So to those that want to break beyond that, you gotta remember that you gotta create a force field so fucking great around you that those things are just like ding, 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 like hail on a windshield. Well, rain on a windshield. Because those voices, the more you push, the louder they'll get. And the thing that a lot of people can't handle is that the voices, when it's, you know, some guy way over here that you don't even know who he is, like a YouTube comment. I don't give a fuck about that. What if it's your mom? What if it's your significant other? That's where the mental toughness, the resiliency really starts to take shape, really starts to matter. Because it's when your inner circle or your supposed inner circle starts to question you that's when shit gets real, right? And that's when you got to dig deep to get through that. But this thing here allows you to be so much further ahead. I mean, look at what we just broke down. Simple shit, right? This is not complicated. We can do this right now together. You could be drawing out this sheet, doing all this with me right now. Okay? Now, what if you did this every week? Forget doing it once a year, because there's going to be so much shit that's like, what was that? Yeah, oh, right? What if you did this once a week? What if you did this at night in bed about the day that just happened? And you went back through all the things that maybe you didn't respond the best way, maybe you didn't show up, maybe you weren't, as powerful as you should have been in this meeting or this conversation, maybe you did a bad job on a sales call. Now picture it going the way you wanted it to. And think about that as you drift off to sleep. Next piece I want to give you is affirmations. So with your goals, we need to do, this is called Commander's Intent, by the way. I'm going to give you another piece. Is Commander's Intent was rolled out and created essentially by the SEALs and by the Navy in the 80s. It was in response to them trying to too rigidly create a scenario, a op. And what they realized is that the more they would plan it out, and they've drawn out the whole thing like a football play, but in such grave detail, that if the thing wasn't executed and orchestrated at that same level of detail, there would be these massive fumbles. So what was really going on is that people were trying to memorize the steps instead of being empowered, instead of being resolute and being able to dynamically change into scenarios. They were creating too much of a static environment. So SEALs being obviously one of the greatest branches and one of the greatest pieces of our military forces, they had to make a dramatic change. And that was when they rolled out what's called Commander's Intent, which is where they had this goal and they had a rough idea of how they're going to get there. But the nitty gritty, and like when you're in the street and we're at this part of it, they didn't actually care. They didn't actually care how you handled that part of it. What they cared about is, okay, we got this end goal, and here's the big moving pieces. We do the same thing with goals. You want to make goals super simple, we do the same shit. I talked about this exactly 1 year ago today on a live stream. So here we are, my first live stream of the year, and it's the end of the year. We talked about the same shit. I'm going to talk about it for the next 50 fucking years if I have to, until you get it. Until we're all just doing it. So how do we apply Commander's Intent to goal setting? Very simply, we start at the very end. Here's what 100% complete looks like. I'm in a Lamborghini. Well, I don't know why I always use a Lamborghini as the example, by the way, but everyone wants a Lamborghini, so I guess whatever. Or I got the woman of my dreams, the man of my dreams. I got $1 million, exactly 1 million, not $1 million and one. No. I got exactly $1 million. So, what's 75%? $750K. What's 50%? $500K. What's 25%? Just like a ruler. to 150K. What's zero? Zero. That alone, if you just knew the big quarter marks, coincidentally, the 25% marks and the quarter marks fit well into breaking down into 90-day sprints, doesn't it? When I ran a software company, guess what we did? Is sprints and Kanban boards, right? I was there when that first started coming out. That's when we were doing software, which sounds like it's aging myself, but it was just a couple years ago. And we did the same thing. We worked off of 90-day sprints because you can't work off of a 365-day sprint. Not in the beginning. Not in the beginning. It's impossible in the beginning because it's, once again, it's the equivalency of opening up a Google Doc or a brand new Microsoft Word document and all that blank cursors just looking back at you. And you don't know what the fuck to do with yourself. It's the same thing. So we got to break this down into more digestible pieces. Commander's intent applied to our year. What are the big moving pieces? Just the 4 quarter marks, just like on a ruler. That's it. That's it. And then we put in pieces to guarantee that we are having situational awareness. You are not born with situational awareness. It is a muscle that is a bitch to grow and gain, okay? Because default's a bitch. That's why. So we need to schedule it in. Once again, what gets scheduled gets managed, and what gets managed gets done. Okay, so we need to schedule that in once a week. And I've got all this, right? Some of this I've given away for free in the community, but I will be, just full disclosure, I will be rolling out a program specific for 2020. You'll get to work with me specifically for 30 days. We're going to do a whole big blowout in the beginning, and I'm going to break all this down. Specifically, you're going to get all the documents, all the papers that you need, and all the charts and everything that you're going to need to actually do this, right? But anyways, that's it, okay? And we schedule something in once a week that we can gain reflection on, that we can create awareness towards. And you give that enough time, and that becomes the default. That's how we change. You see, change, unfortunately, outside of a near-death experience and a, shock and awe, outside of that, change is this slow, gradual thing. And the problem with shock and awe is you need it. It's like a drug. You're going to need it all the time to create a similar effect. And this is, this can be even emphasized again and talked about. The typical process of business growth and the Kaizen theory, which the Kaizen theory now has been around and written about for a really long time now, which it talks about, let's just make micro changes. Let's make micro improvements. 80-20. Another, basically same thing of that. So we've got all these concepts and all these tools all around us that are all essentially saying the same shit, which is that we want to gradually dial in the change. Gradually. Over time. And I'm all for, shock and awe. That's why I use tonality so much, is because I realize that I can't just sit here and be monotone Joe with you. You're not going to get it. You're not going to do anything with it. See, I'm after change. So I have to be willing to be polarizing with you. And I have to be willing to accept the fact that there's going to be 50% of you who like me, 50% of you who don't like me. That's just how it is. It's just how it is. And I've talked about this at length because it just, love don't get the job done when it comes to all this stuff. And when it comes to really getting a message understood. Because I've already tried that. I've already done that. For over a year, I gave everything away for free. I'm sick of fucking giving shit away for free. Jay's got to eat too. So you make change, right? Okay, questions on this? Questions on a specific? Breath of fresh air. Appreciate that, Dan. What's happening? Hey. All right. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that, I don't have. Maybe I get insecure about this, and maybe this is a barrier of resistance for myself, but I would like to shoot more stuff like this with you. I just don't have a setup that I like. Even this, like what you're seeing on this live stream, like this is wildly mediocre for me. And I think that that's important. Set and atmosphere is important to learning. And this, you're only going to be able to take so much from me with this, because it's like a buckshot, you know. But I got to keep up with my goal. I made a commitment to myself that I would shoot a video, do a live stream every year, and talk about goals. And so here we are, 2019. We're talking goal shit at the end of the year, and it's because this is such a crucial time of your life, of the year, of everything, of the cycle. Okay, the macro cycle, very important time, and I want to be there for you. Okay, and that's what's important to me. So, anyways, this is rough, but here you go, you got it, and you can come back obviously on this video. So, for those of you that are going to watch this, and those of you that are listening right now, how do you like the new format with everything that we're doing, with the structuring of the emails that I do? I'm way less than a Discord. Yeah, if you're an Empire Intelligence member and you get our reports, how are you liking that? You know, Peak Mindset, again, covering two things, mindset and money. Mindset and money. That's it. And I would even venture to say, even though it's harder to get people to realize this and believe this, mindset is all that really matters. And those of you who've been broke, been homeless like me, had to claw yourself back out of the shit, you know that what it took was not somebody just coming along and handing you money. Here you go, bud. You look like you need some money. Let me save your life. No, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in the real world, ever. God doesn't do it. Nobody does it. And it's not because you're not loved. It's not because God doesn't love you. It's just because that's not how the game works. Mindset was the thing that brought you out. Okay, mindset was the thing that turned it all around. And you can start with no money, but a mindset that is unparalleled to anyone else, and you'll succeed and you'll move faster than anyone else. That's why the most valuable trait, oh, there goes my light. Okay, so you just lost the light in the background. The most valuable trait that you could have is mental toughness, is the ability to keep moving forward. This has nothing to do with smarts. This has nothing to do with education. And in a lot of ways, most of the time, I would say it's better if you're dumber, because you're not going to get in your way as much. It's better if you don't have as much knowledge and information about a market, about the next step, about the next business venture. Because when you think you need the information, that's another masturbatory step. And you need the information before you can make the decision. Wrong. That's just going to get in your way. All right? Too much good information is like drinking from a fire hose. That's actually a valid concern. Yeah. I'll see what I can do about that. I don't know. But I think that's the case. And so in the beginning, what I saw was when there was the first big shift, we're a crypto community, which I all but can't stand crypto now because I just don't give a fuck about crypto. I was so stupid before and so delusional thinking that like what you do when you tend to overly focus on an investment or an area of importance in your life is you tend to forget about everything else. And I had forgotten about all the basic shit that I had learned that had taken years to learn and where I made most of my money. Completely forgotten about that because I just thought, and the more I got into crypto, I thought, oh yeah, this is going to be the thing. This is the thing. And you start doing what? You start thinking that this thing is going to save you. In some variation, you start thinking this thing's going to save me, right? This is going to be the one thing that does it. And that's get rich quick mentality. And that's why all the people that try to get rich quick get broke real fast. Real fast. And sometimes slow. But they all end up in the same boat. Very few get rich. Okay? Yeah, I noticed, okay, so that had happened and I started to kind of pull myself away. And then most people just completely disassociated. They were not involved in the conversation at all. So I said, okay, see you later. Kicked out 6,000 people from the community because they weren't willing to change. They weren't willing to say, maybe I'm the problem, right? Maybe I'm the problem. And so back then, I thought maybe the problem was because I stopped talking about get rich quick stuff and I stopped talking about crypto, maybe that was the disconnect. And I think that was some of it. But I think the bigger thing is that there was not enough people that were willing to change. And now I love the community that we've got because there's like 5 people that are like, they'll go and run and do exactly the stuff we're talking about. And I can see it because they talk differently and they're different, right? And you know who you are. A couple of them are on the video right now. And there's only like 60 people in the Discord, from 6,000 to like 60. Maybe it's 90. I don't know, right? And I'm always looking for a reason to kick people out now, because I don't care about the numbers. What I realize is we need to go back to the basics with this shit. And I need to spend enough time with enough people who are willing to sit there and soak it in. Okay? And they're going to run. And they're going to be my mavens. They're going to be my mockingbirds. And at some point, the money's going to come. Right? In a lot of ways, I do think like that. Right? Because value in, value out. So I help enough people get what they want, and I'm going to get what I want. Okay? And that's when the community will start to grow again. Because the foundation will be so tough, will be so tight, that there will be no rocking that. And I think that 2020, we have a great chance of being a breakout year for our community and what the fuck we stand for and what we're talking about. Because what I'm all about is you being an empowered individual. That's it. And you being rich. Rich in every sense of the word. Every meaning of the word. Now, you might not want that for yourself, and you might not think that that's possible, but I know it's possible. And I know it's what we all deserve. And now just imagine this for a second. If everyone on the planet had everything they wanted, because that's all possible right now. Infinite prosperity and abundance is there right now. You just think you don't deserve it. Okay? Now, if we all had that right now, just imagine what the world would be like. First question everyone always says, Jay, who's going to take out the garbage? If we all rich, nobody's going to want to take out the trash because it smells like shit. Wrong. There's people that deeply love what they do. There's people that deeply love working with their hands and build houses. There's people that deeply love what they do and they're into tech. I love what I do. If I have $1 billion tomorrow, I will not just retire and sit around and turn into a fat fuck. I will do more of what I'm doing because I will have the capacity to do more through the resource and the tool, which is money. So if everyone was rich, no, the world would not fall apart. No, the trash would not mount up because nobody wants to do it anymore. Despite what everyone says, the world would be better because you'd be free of that burden to then go and explore yourself and go find your passions. And then you'd be able to integrate that back into yourself, and you'd have the resources to then, man, I want to change plastic and how plastic's being used on the planet. And this is getting into, current politics for a second. This is my big problem, especially with a 16-year-old girl running around trying to be the voice of climate change. You got to be fucking kidding me. Because going around and trying to guilt everybody and giving them dirty looks and saying, how dare you ruin my fucking life. No, nobody ruined your life. Okay? You chose to be here. And there's a way of getting through to people. And I'm sorry, but I didn't hear her nice speeches for 10 years that nobody listened to. All of a sudden, she's just on the scene. And now all of a sudden everyone should just listen to her. You don't, get through to people by just yelling at them like that. You got to show both, which is why I'm always showing both. I don't mind getting in your face. I don't mind getting shitty with you, but I'm also going to come over and give you a hug too afterwards because I realize that's what it takes. Okay? That's what it takes. So no, that's not going to do the trick. Rallying and protesting is not going to do the trick. Okay? They've talked nothing. She's talked nothing about China. Nothing about Indonesia. Nothing about Asia being the biggest pollutant of plastic and fossil fuels on the planet, not America. But you're going to try and guilt America. And then you're going to ask for billions of dollars in this Green New Deal. Get the fuck out of here. You're ridiculous. You make no fucking sense. And I don't know why anyone listens to these people. It's because it's a kid. And they use that as a weapon against you. Okay? Anyways, we're off track. But my point is that the people that tend to respond to that are disempowered. And they're already guilting and shaming themselves. And they already think that they don't deserve anything. And they already think that they should be broke. And they should give away their money. Right? And they shouldn't have anything nice. So everything is built in your life right now, from mainstream media to politics to your government, is built to bring it all in on you. So that every minute of every day you feel guilty, you feel disempowered, and you feel like you don't deserve fuck all. And I'm here to tell you that that's simply not true. And it's only when we are able to thrive. First, you gotta believe that you deserve it. The deservingness leads to us thriving. The whole planet thriving and having unlimited resources, which is the actual truth, It's only at that point, when it's acknowledged and understood, that we will be able to elevate to the next level. Okay? It's only then. Because, like I said, you'll have the resources. You'll be able to go and explore yourself, find your passions, integrate that back into yourself, and go and give that back out to the world, which will naturally create better solutions. Right now, you can't... It's this really interesting game of like pointing fingers. That's not how shit works. That's not how this changes. That doesn't lead to change. That leads to more guilting and more shaming and more division. And I'm sure you'd agree, I think we got enough of that going on right now. Okay? So it's time for us to recognize some actual universal truths. Because there's what is it? Universal truth. Then there's planetary truths and this solar system, or excuse me, then there's this solar system truths. Then there's this planetary truth. And then there's your truth. And it's not always true. It's not always true. In fact, most of the time, it's utterly full of shit. It's full of restriction, judgment, micro assumptions. And all of those things move you backwards. Back to the starting line. Because that's comfort. Comfort is your default. Yeah? Questions? I'm going off on tangents now. If you're watching a replay of this, yeah, comment below. And, you know, if you got questions, all that. Yeah. 45 minutes, not bad. Goals, man, goals can be one of the funnest things. Accomplishing shit in your life can be one of the funnest things. It's not going to be easy. It will be hard, but it's only going to be hard because we make it hard. The process itself is simple. Simple not meaning easy. The universe is simple, so therefore everything in the universe has to be simple. But, big but, so I just deleted everything I said, okay? We get in our own way. And we got a lot of judgments about, and a lot of truths about how the world is, how it should be. Yeah, but, Jay, you don't understand. And if you could just eliminate that, there's no resistance, and it's just sliding through the goal. Clear path. Yeah? Clear path. And that's what you got to get good at. That's what scheduling in the awareness will do for you. And you'll get so good at it that you just kind of catch yourself mid-old default, where it's like you're going in to be a victim, or you're going in to make an excuse, or you're going in to do this. It's like, whoa, wait a second. You'll stop yourself mid-sentence. And you just got, no, actually, no, that's not true. Let me try this again. Let me start over. I do this all the time. Which, I don't know how that sounds to somebody else listening. I don't really care. But I know for me, I was about to go somewhere that was completely and utterly full of shit. And I just stopped it. So I just did you a favor. Because I was about to, be full of shit. And be weak. An old version of myself. And instead, I said, no, we're going to stop. And we're going to come over here. Right? Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's so simple, and it's odd too, because it's becoming clearer and clearer to me how simple things are. And it's making it harder and harder to communicate that. Yeah. It's making it harder and harder to communicate that. I don't know. That's a good question. You're talking about crypto, HitBTC. I'm pretty sure they're insolvent. The last thing I read was a thread, maybe less than a week ago, and pretty sure they're insolvent. But we were talking shit about HitBTC in 2018. I think that's when I pulled all my money out and told the community to do the same, get the fuck out of there. That there was something really, really off. There's all these other people losing their accounts and just kind of mystery money disappearing. I don't know what's going on with them right now. I did catch up on pieces of a thread that stated that they thought that they were insolvent now, and I would tend to agree with that. If you look at the trajectory and the timeline of that, okay, a year ago they were clearly showing signs of struggling. I mean, for them to have made it another year is impressive, but I would assume it's going to get much worse. And that's part of the downside of all this crypto shit. And I realized that too. That was part of, there's like all these things I realized, and I was like, look, I can't be a part of this anymore. I can't be bandwagoning around this like I used to. And look at a year later, you know, gosh, just imagine if I would have been stubborn and selfish and not pivoted. The disservice I would have done to you, the community. We'd be talking the same shit, man. I'd be all but on the street corner, pulling PUD to get a couple $100 for a video review. Yeah, it would have been a huge disservice for you guys. Huge. Because look at how many of those channels are still around. You know? Yeah, it's unfortunate. And you got the same thing in the macro finance space, personal finance space, the same shit. The credit card points space, the travel rewards guys, same bullshit. Same bullshit. And that was, I started this whole, I was going to say webinar. I want to start doing webinars too. Fucking miss doing webinars. But this whole live stream off with is that I will never be the kind of guy who's just like, I'm this guy now. I'm the personal finance guy. I'm the crypto guy, right? You can't. Because things are starting to move so quick now that when you box yourself into that corner, you cut yourself off in a big way to other opportunities. Just by me calling myself Crypto J for the longest time was one of the biggest disservices I could have done. Because that don't pivot. That's not dynamic. That can't move if it needs to. It's stuck in that corner collecting fucking dust. That's it. Right? And yeah, so it's like, you know, crypto's great for what it does. I think it already won. I mean, I think if Bitcoin goes away tomorrow, it already did its job. It shook up the banking industry. The fact that the fact that Trump had to streamline the CFTC's approval to list CME and CBOE futures to stop the bull run in 2017, which we know is true now. They've come out and admitted this. The fact that they had to do that means Bitcoin won. Who gives a fuck what the price ends up doing? I thought it was the tech. And now, a year later, I mean, just look at the Bitcoin community. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. Maximalists aren't even getting along anymore. Because there's no narrative for them to follow. They are a ship with no rudder. Okay? Thankfully, Bitcoin doesn't care. But Bitcoin does need a new narrative. Mark my words. For Bitcoin to last, it needs a new narrative. And it's not because Bitcoin needs it. It's because people are people. And behavior is behavior. And just like if I were to last week talk about chicken, and this week talk about how to golf, and next week talk about how to get in shape, and then we're going to do knitting and beading, you'd be like, what the fuck is this guy's deal? Just talk about one thing. The ship always needs a rudder. Not for the ship's, how's I going to say? But for the crew's sake, not for the ship's sake. The ship is going to go where the ship wants to go with no rudder. But it's more for the crew. We're the crew of the ship. So Bitcoin doesn't need a narrative, but the people need Bitcoin to have a narrative. The narrative, to me, has always been, not always been, but since, when did I start saying this? 2018, maybe? I'd have to go back and check if I gave a fuck. But I really don't. Store of value. Not digital gold, per se, which is what Grayscale has been doing and pushing. You know, drop gold. What is it? Drop gold, get Bitcoin. Their ticker, I think, is GBTC. But not necessarily digital gold. Because aren't you being a Me Too product by saying that? You're basically saying, yeah, we're gold, but just digitally. No. Me Too products don't work, okay? From a marketing standpoint. Marketing is required. Every great thing that was ever created had marketing. Bitcoin didn't have marketing. It had people who went and marketed it. Same shit. Same, but different, okay? Store value. Yeah, store value. Because shit's going to get a whole lot more interesting here. We have Space Force was created. And what I already know where things are going in 2020. And I'm going to drop the 2020 trends report in about a week. Okay, just so you guys are aware. If you haven't caught up on 2019 report, I did get a lot of stuff right in that. Go take a look. Okay, you'll see for yourself. What's going to happen in 2020 and why Space Force was created, because they need to speed up disclosure. The U.S. Air Force holds the patent on the Triangle aircrafts. Mark my words. Disclosure is going to happen like you've never fucking seen it before in 2020. They're going to be dropping shit left and right because they have to. Colorado Springs will become the epicenter. They're taking Washington and moving it. They're taking Virginia and moving it to Colorado Springs. The Space Force branch will have its main hub here. Okay? So that's all happening. Now, because disclosures are going to happen, and because we're jumping into space in a couple years, watch my Space Race 2.0 video on the channel if you haven't seen that already. Tons of planning. 40 missions from NASA. 2024 with Elon Musk and his initiatives, with his rockets. We got Blue Origin. We got who is that? Richard Branson, Virgin, doing his thing. So we got 3-4 big players, and we're gonna start mining this asteroid that has however many quadrillion dollars on it. It'd be the equivalency of everyone on the planet having $92 billion each. So 8 billion people having $92 billion each, or 96 billion, one or the other. Gold is going to go through some interesting times. In the next 10 years, yeah, but probably 5 years. So people will need another store of value. So if Bitcoin plays its cards right, the talking heads for Bitcoin, it can put itself in a good position. Now, next common question people will ask, what's going to happen with the halving? If you look at the historical data, which is all we really have to go off of right now, and the current cycle that we're in, there's nothing bullish about the current cycle we're in. Sorry. We're finishing. It looks like we're finishing the downtrend. 1 to 4 more months. 6 more months. Who knows? That's probably going to finish up here. I'd say in the next month. And so I don't know if we're going to get the reaction that people are thinking because halving. But I do think that at some point we'll get it. It's usually within that year of the halving happening that we get the reaction up. And what do you know? It's going to be perfect timing with increased disclosures, increased gold, the need for gold. But then maybe around the tail end, maybe we'll start, getting a bunch of gold dumped on the market. Who knows what they're going to find on the moon besides some of the other mystery substances, right? But that will negatively impact something like gold. Okay, because all of a sudden a bunch of supply dumps on the market. It's not good. Supply and demand. Remember the basic laws? So that opens up a huge opportunity. And I think it's just going to end up being Bitcoin by itself. XRP is going to end up being some sort of settlement tool within the banking industry. But I think XRP is mostly a money grab. Okay, not for you, by the way, for them. And that community is a strange one too. But, yeah. And then there's going to be the central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. And there'll be 1 or 10 or 100. And there will be no more cash because they want to get rid of cash anyways. You got to understand that they can stop all the cash hoarding and off the books, Uncle Sam not getting his piece by going digital. You think that distributed ledger technology was created to set you free? Fuck no, dude. It was created as another means of tracking. All right? Another means of tracking. So, yeah, that'll all come together in their next, whether it'll be a one world currency or, something better, hopefully more distributed than that. But, yeah, all those things are going on. No, I don't subscribe to thoughts on BTC and its marketing as Richard Hart. Do you subscribe to? Actually, I don't know, but I know he's under. I don't follow Richard Hart that much, but I know that he's going through a lot of shit for Hex. Everyone's calling it a scam, basically calling him a MLMer scammer. So I think that's grand. I think that's really fucking funny, because that's a kind of a lot of the crypto space. The crypto space promotes anonymity, brings in and invites a lot of scammers. We got scammers, we got pedophiles, you got some fucked up shit going on in crypto, right? People. It eats itself in a lot of ways. The crypto community eats itself in a lot of ways, which is not empowering at all. And they're not more free. They just pretend like they are. Yeah, okay, let me address that too, because I've had people ask this a few different times, I'm all of a sudden out of nowhere making a lot of programs and products. You got to understand, I can't fucking help it. I've been sitting on this shit for years. Okay, and I'm always thinking like, fuck, man, like another one came to me. And you got to also understand the type of person I am. It comes to me, I start doing it. I make it. Well, then fuck, I got this program. And I know this is going to help people. And I'm unwilling to give it away for free because I want you to have skin in the game. And you got to have skin in the game. So you got to give me money. Okay, I could go light the money on fire. I'll go give it to a fucking charity. Okay, but got to have skin in the game. And it's just coming to me that quick. Yeah, it's coming to me that quick. Like right now, you know, I don't want to overwhelm you, but I got like 3-4 more I'm working on. And it's like, fuck, dude. I can't not do it though. You know, the stuff with I didn't even want to get into the credit repair bullshit because I fucking hate that market. But the perfect thing dropped in my lap, so I got to do it. I got to do it, right? And I feel good about it. It's a great opportunity, a great tool for people to use. That's that will become a growing problem. It's already getting to be a problem. So many Americans with credit problems, okay? And that's blocking them from getting access to money that they can use to not be a fuckwit, to not go and make it rain at the strip club, but to change their life, to invest in a business, to invest in themselves. I mean, you know, if you had access to a $5,000 card and you didn't really know what to do, you should probably take 1,000 of it and go walk on some fire with Tony, you know, because that's better than doing nothing. That's better than not going and getting the money. That's better than not going and getting anything because you're taking another step forward. And that's something that the bench warmers will never understand. That's something that those sitting in the bleachers will never understand. Okay? And they'll talk all day long. They'll talk shit all day long about how dumb something like that is. But it's better than not moving. And sometimes just moving is all that matters. Okay? Because the momentum is everything. Momentum is key. Yeah? So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to overwhelm you guys. But, yeah, I got like 3-4 more. I've been working on the trading program and my philosophy towards trading, how I trade and how I've had such great success, which I keep very low key because I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be titled this fucking trader, okay? And a guru with the trading system. I don't care. But yeah, that's working on that. I got this whole coaching goals, you know, thing I want to do. That's the hottest in my mind. So that'll get launched. That's, you know, I've been working on that for the last month. I mean, I've been working on everything for that. Drawings and sketches, all the, you know, almost made my own kind of productivity journal around all that, which I had made that in 2017. Where is that? Is that right here? Okay. I don't have it. It's over there. But I made that in 2017. Like a compatible workbook to go with the whole goal-setting philosophy and program that I believe in. This is the very last thing that I had my designer do in 2017 in Bali. So you got to understand, man, I've been sitting on this fucking shit for too long. And now that I've got my body cleaned up and things are flowing again, it's boom, boom. I feel it, I do it. I feel it, I do it. I feel it, I do it. It's like, yeah. And that's what clarity looks like. That's what focus looks like. Just look at what I'm doing. Don't listen to anything I'm saying. Fuck what I'm saying. Look at what I'm doing. I'm doing the same shit that I'm explaining to you. This is how we do it. And when I get that, you know, get my body cleaned out and get that back on track, then it becomes infinitely easier for me to come over here and create, doesn't it? Right? So anyways, that's all I got on that. Yeah, movement is key. Movement is everything. I've been fluctuating between like 6 and 8 people on the stream, so I appreciate that. You know, there was a time when I'd be embarrassed, thinking that I needed to have, you know, measuring off of metrics that didn't matter. But you know what? The 7, 8 of you that have been on this thing the whole time, you're already going to do things differently, and that's what's actually important. Because there's a big difference between talking and acting like you want to make change and then fucking going and making change, all right? And so yeah, 2020 can be the best year of your fucking life. It really can. But it's going to take you. It's going to take you to have some awareness and to be willing to live in a space of discomfort. That's it. Feel it. Be in it. Be breathing in the discomfort. It's all around you, all the time. And recognizing that that's a better place to be in And you're more comfortable there than being on the couch. Staying in the job. Falling for social media bullshit and arguments with fucking retards. Okay? Stay in the place of discomfort. And get really okay with that. You're not trying to fight to get out. You're just there. Here we are. And that's where it all starts, right? That's where it all starts. And that's why I'm able to create what I'm able to create. And I throttle myself quite a bit this year. But my recovery and the times that I go and get lost and the times that because I go and face resistance, it all still happens to me. It happens to the guy who makes $1 billion, and it happens to everybody, okay? The only difference is awareness. So now I go and get all fucked up or lose my flow, right? And lose my energy. Then I'm so quick to get back. Week, 2 weeks. Last time I just lost it, took a little break. Took a break from running because I started having ankle mobility issues, running to 20 miles a week. Which, holy shit, dude. I never thought in my fucking life I'd be running 20 miles a week. And I was breezing through 20 miles a week. I could crank that shit up to fucking 50. 100. Probably at 100, I'd start to have some serious breakdowns. Without some more tools, right? Or 2-3 hours of stretching a day. I'm unwilling to commit to that right now. But here we are, beginning of the new year. I've got my goals that I've publicly talked about this year. Ironman in 100 or 200s. And you better believe we're going to fucking get after it. So, that's how that's able to happen, though, you know? Yeah, that's how that's able to happen. But I've throttled myself quite a bit, actually. Because I didn't want to be, fuck, man, I'm going to have 20 fucking paid programs. And what that looks like is it just, looks like I'm on a money grab, you know? And that's not what's actually going on. It's just that's all the shit that I've been sitting on. That's all the shit that's been sitting off to the side, you know? When I created Bulletproof Portfolio, that's the last year's worth of work. You gotta understand. That's a fucking 120-page document that I made for all the shit for me, for our family portfolio. And I was like, fuck, dude. Like, look at all the shit look at all the time and effort and energy I just went through. Let me give this. Let me turn this into something. I turned it into something in a week. I built and launched that. In a fucking week. 6 modules. Juiced to the fucking gills. Peak Mindset Principles. Same thing. That's my whole life's work. I made that in like 3 days. Because when you're clear, you're fucking clear. You don't need sleep. You don't need food. You just go. Yeah. Let me show you the next thing. So this is a part of, this is a piece for Bulletproof Portfolio, by the way. Let me just wait for the live stream to kick over. Yep, there it is. But this is breaking down all the business stuff that I've now learned. I had no clue about how to build business credit. No fucking clue. Now we're learning. Look at all this shit. I'll give you just a glimpse of the first page here. Yep, there it is. Master lending list that I've been working on. 16 pages. Oh, what is this? Oh my gosh, where does Chase pull from? Well, it pulls from Experian. You need a 750 plus. What about the Chase Amazon card? You need an Experian. It does an Experian hard pull, 750 plus. Oh my gosh, what are the business benefits? That's all you get. That's all you get out of that one, okay? But that's another thing that I've been working on. Through myself, through anyone that will give me the information, I've scoured fucking forums. I've scoured all the FICO score forums, all the, just everything I could with the most recent data that I could get my hands on. Plus everything that we've been doing. So yeah, I don't let shit go to waste. And I don't fucking waste time. Yeah, that's it. I don't let shit go to waste, and I don't waste time. All right, let's do questions, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Was this valuable? Was this good for you guys? Obviously, if you're watching the replay, you can show me by just giving a thumbs up. It takes 2 seconds to click the fucking button, or comment below if this really touched you, if this really shifted something. Comment below. But yeah, how is this for you guys? Let's see. Some of you, I know that it's late as fuck for you where you're at, so I appreciate you being on with me. Let's give it a second here for the latency to catch up. But yeah, how is this for you guys? Or if you want to, DM me in a Discord or something, you can do that too. Hopefully there's no issues with this. Yeah. 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 I mean, that's tough. You know, that's tough. I always, you know, I'm the type of guy that I start off nice and then I get mean and I get blunt real quick. People say it's mean, but it's more just me being honest and me telling the truth. And people associate that with being mean because nobody likes the truth, right? How do you get set up with an affiliate? I'll send you a link. I'll DM you a link, Ken. But yeah. I mean, why not, dude? It's like, look, I don't have all the tools. This guy's got a bunch of shit that helped me. You're going through a lot of the stuff that I was going through, and I think it'd be really great, and it's obviously going to help our business relationship. It's going to help our personal relationship. If you start to, you know, shift some of these defaults that you believe to be true, here it is. Bam. Give them the link. All you got to do is sign up. For, you know, what you're talking about with Peak Mindset Principles, fucking $100, dude. Cheapest shit you'll ever buy. You know? It took me my whole life. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Suffering. Being homeless. Trying to kill myself. Fuck, dude. Cheapest shit you'll ever buy, man. Cheapest shit you'll ever buy. You know, here it is. Bang. Yeah. There it is. And that's it. And it's the same with the other stuff. It's like, those of you who've been following me, you already know who I am. You know? I'm going to go, if it's something I need, I'm going to go fucking balls deep. I'm going to sniff around all of it. Because that's just my process now. I never knew that this would become such a powerful process. You know, back when I was doing this and I was starting to be like this, I thought everyone did this. This is the assumption that I still operate off of, which is, it's a bad one. And I'm working on it. I promise you. But I have this assumption that everyone else is doing what I'm doing. And I very rarely stop to look around and say, well, fuck, nobody's there. You know? So I just assume, like, I tell someone, yeah, you know, just go research this, this, and this. They're going to do it the same way as me. No, sir. No, absolutely not. But yeah, that's just the process that I've created. You know, we're going back maybe 10 years. When I first got into the internet, I wanted to get into internet marketing to make money. So what I did was I spent 14 hours a day in the chair. Because I had moved back in with my parents. This is at the tail end of doing door-to-door sales. Then I thought, okay, I'll get back into modeling. So then I started getting into training for runway modeling. And the coach that was helping me wanted me to do some gay shit to get me into the fucking Ford. And I said, no. Ford, the agency. No. Boom. On a plane the next fucking day. Because I was broke at the time. I had no money. I was sleeping on his fucking couch. And shit got real fucking uncomfortable. Next day I was on a plane. Went back home, mommy and daddy. You know, that's how it goes sometimes. And I was like, okay, I'm going to fucking make this internet shit work. I'm going to dedicate a year, 365 fucking days to research everything I can. I didn't last 365 days. I only lasted maybe like half a year, and I was already off to the races. By a year, I was already making money. By about 18 months, first 100,000, first million. Yeah. So that's how it went, you know. But 14 hours a day, I had a fucking piss bucket right next to me. I'd piss in a gallon jug, just boom, whip it out, piss, so I could keep. Oh yeah. On the forums, on the old school Black Hat forums. I didn't know that was going to become the foundation to what I got now. I'm insanely appreciative of old Jay for doing what he did for now how I am. Fuck, you got no idea. So appreciative of that guy. You know, because this what people don't get with this that you're looking at, okay? The internet, technology, how apps work on your phone, and how the root system and the granularity of it. Like I click this thing to get into this thing, which takes me to this thing, right? The process flow of all of this is the base for spacecrafts and the global system that we'll be using on planets. This is the infrastructure. So if you don't get this, you're not going to make it there. And you can't use the age excuse on me. I'm not going to be around for that. Yeah, you will. Fuck. And you'll really be suffering. That's when you'll realize you fucked up. And when you see it there, you see like, I have no choice, right? It's almost like you have no choice. The minute that you see you have no choice in one area of your life, you can start to apply it to everything. I literally start to make every decision like it's life or death. life or death, on everything. I got to get this email out. In the beginning, I've been emailing straight since April. Almost 200 emails we got out since April this year. If you count the mindset emails, over 200. Okay? That's what I did in the beginning. I was willing to fucking die to get the email written. Sounds completely absurd to people. Completely absurd. But I tell you what, I don't miss a single fucking email now. Every day. Bang, like clockwork. It's like breathing. And you know what's funny about that? Is I'm only one bad decision away from it slipping away from me. I'm tired today. I fucking slept in. I slept in, guys. I'm so sorry. I couldn't give you a piece that might change your life today because I had to sleep in. I'm just one excuse away from that whole thing's breaking apart and slipping away from me. Because default's a motherfucker. I actually titled a piece that one time, I think. Default's a motherfucker. I think I literally wrote a whole article about that. Email. All right, anything else? Yeah, business credit piece is going to be a game changer, and we're still at the very beginning of this thing. I'm still fucking around with how to make the first jump from tier 1 to tier 2, which is secured and starter accounts to net 30, net 90 accounts. Which one solution I've got, which I've talked about, I don't have a link on me, but I always got a plug, is Behalf. So we use Behalf now. So you can actually finance anything you want to buy, any of my shit you want to buy, any of my programs you want to buy. You can finance it on Behalf. Net 120-day terms. They report to everyone. Experian, Duns, and what's the other one? Elite Credit, I think it's called, or some shit. It's basically a network of like that reports out to 20 other agencies. There's a lot of business reporting agencies. The only two that really matter is Duns and Experian Business, but they report to everybody. And you can get approved with a brand new LLC. I just did it. $1,000. 120-day terms. The brand new LLC. So fuck, man. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity out there. And that'll start reporting the first time you make a payment. First time you use it, first time you make a payment. And with Behalf, you can actually use it. They'll allow you to enter in your invoice details. They'll allow you to pay, I think, damn near anything with that account once you get it. So I have people using it to get approved for if they want to buy shit through me. So why not? It's a write-off. Get it financed on your business. It's a business expense, especially the yearly membership, Empire Intelligence. It's business-related shit, or Bulletproof Portfolio. Business-related shit. You get the write-off, and you get to finance it, which builds your business credit. I mean, best of every world. But that I'm most excited about right now, because it's new. It's new to me, Going to be diving into the SBA program soon and getting more into that, because one of the goals for 2020 is to buy and sell businesses. I want to get into that. I see it wide open. I'm not going to tell you the niche I see it wide open in, because there's already a lot of people doing it. It's call it business roll-ups. Go and create yourself a board of directors. You go out, you buy businesses, and then you keep building up your portfolio in your holding company. You sell that motherfucker off, and you make hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm not going to tell you the niche. I got a sweet niche. I'm a fucking stud in proficiency in this area, and it's going to be great. But so that's one of the things I want to do this year. I don't know how YouTube fits into that, but not sure yet. I don't know. Maybe I'll just walk away from this YouTube shit. Finally. That in the background, by the way, that is, I'm starting to print off all of the shit that I've got. All my books, I've got those printed off. And all the training courses I ever bought, 15, 17 terabytes of stuff. All the stuff I ever bought, Books on copywriting, books on NLP, books on everything. Starting to print them all off because I got, digital copies of so much. And that's already 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves. 4 shelves full. But, yeah. All right, guys. What else? Nice. That's good. Yeah, small business director. That's really, really good. Still pretty stupid in that area, but not for long. because it's really great program in America. You know, they'll ask 70-80% loan to value. You got to come up with 10-20% yourself, and a lot of times you can get seller finance on this, and that's it. Oh, great, good for you. Yeah, business insurance for them. Okay. Yeah, it's good stuff. Okay, guys, I think that's enough. I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit, and I got shit to do. I got to finish some reports and some reading because it's the 31st. So I got like 2 things that I've been procrastinating. Speaking of procrastination, that I got to finish and I want to put out for today. Blog post, which will be on empireresearch.net. Okay, that's our main site, and a report that I want to finish for the Empire Intelligence Yearly members. Put out a report on fucking Christmas, by the way. It don't stop. It don't stop. Not for the holidays, not for nothing. And there are deals being closed right now. This is like the the off limits time for a lot of people, right? Take the holidays off. Understand, bankers are closing deals. And at the end of the year is the best time to get deals pushed through. Because everyone else thinks it's the time to go slow. Thinks it's the time to take off. So the guys who are willing to work, cleaning up. Cleaning up. Best time of year. Celebrate Christmas later. You know? All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. Thank you for everyone who's stuck around and showed support over the years. You know, it's been a fucking journey, and we are just getting started. We are just getting started with this, and 2020 is going to be a blockbuster year, and it can be the best year of your fucking life if you let it. Listen to the shit that I'm giving you. It's basic stuff. Apply it to your life. Tweak it to your life and, you know, how you see fit, and get after it. Okay, that's it. See ya. Happy New Year.